Classroom Management Plan by Alexis Gonzalez. In the words of Harry Wong, if you do not have a plan, you plan to fail. Classroom Management Plan provides structure through procedures, expectations, rules, and consequences. Effective teachers are proactive, and they always have a classroom management plan. There are many theories surrounding classroom management. I like the COMP model, the Classroom Organization Management Program developed by Carolyn Evertson and Eileen Harris. This model is eclectic and includes concepts from several theorists. I will design a learning environment full of love, knowledge, and respect for my students. Democracy in the classroom is important to me because the learning environment should mirror life outside the classroom. I will use the first days of school to create rules and practice procedures. I also believe in creating a sense of community in my classroom. Safety in my classroom will include social, emotional, and physical safety. My ideal classroom will have designated areas for reading, computer, science, math, small group work, and isolated work. Instead of a desk, I will use a rolling podium. Student seating will be flexible. The beginning of the year will likely reflect the seating displayed. But once I get to know the students, I will assign them into pods. The smartboard will be centered so all students can have a clear view. I will also have a clear view from the small group work area. Supplies will have a designated area, including a drop box where students can leave notices and turn in work. Areas for student personal belongings will be spread around the room so that there's no overcrowding during dismissal and arrival. I will also have several displays around the room so that I can show student work, schedules, rules, word wall notices, and inspirational quotes. I like the idea of a democratic classroom to model real life outside the classroom. So I believe when students are involved in the rulemaking process, they're more likely to follow them. I will communicate to them the consequences for misbehavior, allowing the students to be in control of their actions. And the consequences will be gradual and logical. And I will also focus on positive behavior. These are several rules that I will have in my classroom, so keep your hands to yourself, follow directions, be prepared, ask for permission, and respect. Classroom procedures and expectations. I expect all my students to succeed, and I will set it up so that they do. We will practice procedures, and we will recite the Learner's Creed to remind us every day of our goals and expectations. I will communicate the lesson objectives to the students so that they too know what they're working towards. And this is the Learner's Creed that I found on teachingasleadership.org. My classroom procedures will include communication, taking attendance, and moving around the room. I found a great attention getter strategy aligned with the democratic environment from teachingchannel.org. Every time I say the special word chosen by the students, they will stop what they're doing, free their hands, and direct their attention to me. I will maximize instructional time by assigning seats, and students will learn to enter the room and unpack and begin their do now work or do now assignment that will be posted on the board before they even enter the room. The students will raise their hands to ask for permission to use the bathroom, for water, or any other kind of break. I will also have procedures for groups and materials. I will use Wong's support group strategy, and classroom jobs will be used to handle materials and other classroom responsibilities. All students will have an opportunity to apply for the different jobs by completing an application. The safe environment will consist of emergency procedures as well as emotional and social safety. I will gather emergency information during the beginning of the school year. I will create a list of instructions, emergency contact information with a class roster. I will keep this information in a folder in a special place in case of an emergency. I can easily find it if I ever need to use it. I will teach students how to evacuate the classroom and the building. I will they will also have a line buddy. Students will learn to stop what they're doing, to listen for my directions. I will also teach them lockdown procedures, procedures for severe weather, and how to go to the nurse's office. Proactive approaches can be used to prevent undesirable behavior in the classroom. Aggressive behaviors, including bullying, should not be tolerated and need to be addressed immediately. The National Center on Safe Supporting Learning Environments also provides workshops on de-escalation techniques and the 5 R's for teachers to create a safe and respectful learning environment. I will maximize effectiveness also by behavior management. I will create a student-centered environment. The less time that I spend on discipline is the more time that I will have for instructions. I will use paper tickets to reward students for their good behavior. I will sometimes ignore misbehaviors, as that might be the best way to handle the situation because I won't interrupt instructional time. Some behaviors cannot be ignored, so I will use the Comp Models minor intervention techniques. I will also use the Comp Models moderate and extensive intervention techniques if the misbehavior escalates. Maximizing effectiveness should also include setting high attainable expectations for all students and creating lessons aligned with standards, communicating objectives with students, and differentiating instruction will help create an effective classroom so that all students reach mastery. A lot of the decisions related to classroom instruction are regulated by the state and federal government. The Individuals with Disability Education Act was put in place to give students with disability an opportunity to learn in the best possible environment. IDEA also allows for accommodations including extended exam times and assignment times, auxiliary aids, and alternative testing formats. No Child Left Behind was developed to increase the quality of education and to hold schools responsible for student learning outcomes. The Bilingual Education Act was put in place to provide funding for English language learners. Although the main goal of current education is to provide an inclusive learning environment, Response to Intervention provides procedures for teachers to seek additional individualized help for specific students so that all students can reach their highest potential. The RTI process is divided into 3 tiers: screening, administering research-based academic support to target the area of deficit, and individually focused instructions for students who require intense interventions. An inclusive classroom is the expectation of accommodations. Classroom inclusion needs to expand across cultures, languages, disabilities, and intellect. Classrooms today should include a culturally diverse curriculum. I will integrate a variety of culture in my language arts program. I have also compiled a list of strategies to get me started my first year of teaching. Here are a few strategies for struggling learners. These are strategies for English language learners. And these are strategies for students with gifted abilities. The Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA, is a privacy law protecting the student's educational record. FERPA regulations are also important to me because I need to be informed of the handling procedures when it comes to my students' identifiable, educational, and disciplinary information. Students have a better academic opportunity to reach success when their parents are involved. Parents may be more responsive to text messages, so I will use remind.com to communicate due dates and reminders. I will also use a class website to post homework, notices, contact information. I plan to provide homework help so parents can guide their kids at home. For example, I can create a short video showing parents how to help their students with new math techniques. I understand children may be easily influenced and their developing minds are impressionable. And as an educator, I am responsible for the content that I teach them, and I am also responsible for setting an example. I will educate by the principles of the professional conduct for the education profession in Florida. Classroom management is crucial for student achievement and teacher success. The Classroom Organization and Management Program has provided substantial guidance for my classroom management plan. I have also used ideas from teachingasleadership.org, teachingchannel.org, and the State and Federal Department of Education. The democratic learning community I will strive to create will depend on my continuous professional development, flexible arrangement, student participation, and parent involvement. Although a part of me is still nervous, I'm excited for my future as a teacher. I look forward to the day that I can use, reflect on, and revise this classroom management plan.